This is the Austin Chinatown biggest supermarket, empty supermarket. I went there every other 3 weeks to buy some groceries, rice and other special vegetables. There are some cheap, nice, fancy Asian food which you might have never heard before. You can purchase something over here. There's still some nice, fancy restaurant over here. If you want to come around or just come to China, ask me.
Can you describe the little cups here, Zhongyu?
Yeah. The little cup is every time we're celebrating for something, we're saying "Ganbai," toast, bottoms up. Yeah. Wish you a happy new year.
Why did you decide to come and study in America?
That's a long story, and to be said in one sentence, that's because of my American dream. But before American dream, I sort of had a British dream first, because when I started learning a language, I really fascinated into it. When I just started to learn English, all the textbook was talking about British culture and all kind of the Big Ben, London Bridge, Madame Tussauds, that all give me a sort of impression of the Western world. And then the British dream was changed into American dream because many of my peers who have studied in the Great Britain, first it's a high tuition, high living standards, and it's really hard to immigrate here. So most of them has changed their dream into America and build their own career and whole family to immigrate into America. Also, this dream changed my mind, and I finally decided to go across the continent, Pacific Ocean, into the United States of America. This is a place of rice, different types of rice. They're from northeastern part of China, and some of them are from Thailand, Myanmar, and Vietnam. Yeah, I always carry such a big one. Let's go and eat! That's the traditional teapot of China. When you store tea over there, and it automatically fills the tea at the bottom, and when it filters out, it's just the water, and you find it very nice. And like that, you enjoy. Yeah, this is a traditional teacup. And when you got it like this, it's like a leader of the Communist Party. Wow, it smells like heaven.
Okay. Okay, Zhongyu, so what's the main thing that attracted you to America?
First is of course money, then is liberty.
Can you explain that a bit more?
Yeah, because I think in China, from the day I was born till now, I'm almost like 22, and I barely feel kind of freedom or independence in me, because in Chinese family, the oldest one is always been the dominant one. So first, our mainstay is my grandfather, then switched to my father, and me, I was just a little dog. When I talk about anything, none of them will ever have. When I talk about anything, none of them will listen to me. So they were kind of controlling me in everything. When I go to public spaces, I also find lack of liberty, because we are all being controlled by the government, and many people don't allow to interview, and places don't allow you to access. So when I got in America, I found my dream come true, and I find it's kind of self-independent. So people and all the environment are more friendly.
So do you ever have lobster or crab, Zhongyu?
Yes, I like to cook shrimp and lobster. I have feast myself every week on Saturdays or Sundays. But in China, this was not very common in supermarkets, because every family would like to share his grown food in his own farmland, and people like to buy these groceries. And
what do you hope for China in the future?
I wish China could take more responsibilities in world affairs. You know, China has been a big country, but with little power in the previous days. But then with our economic success and our political power gaining bigger, and our influence over Africa or in some Asian countries is also increasing. So I think China need to take more responsibilities in the world, against from them now being like they're shrinking off many responsibilities and don't talk much in the world affairs. They're regarding them as a little country as before. So I think China is gonna work like America used to be, that to coordinate in the United Nations. China has already been a standing member of the UN for more than 40 or 50 years, but it hasn't contributed that much, I think.
So do you think China and America can work together to achieve that?
Definitely. We used to have a lot of issues, mainly on ideology, on socialism or capitalism, but I think we have worked through it. We have our mutual economic interest as well as world responsibilities. If we just kind of coordinate well, we can get through a lot of the world issues well. You know, China contributes to 20% of the world population, and America contributes to 30% of the world's economy. So that's huge for the world. That's a good balance for the Eastern and the Western.
So why do you like the tea section, Zhongyu?
Because my grandparents told me never to drink any cold things. So I don't have any fascination towards soft drinks, which is cold and so sweaty. And what I like is the tea is hot and good for the health. And it's like herbs. Any green tea, red tea is really good for your health. And it freshes you up whenever you got up.
Do you think is an important fact that the world needs to know about China?
The world is now seeing that all Chinese should be like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen. But it's not about that. It's not about the skyscrapers that we have built. It's about the downstream people. You see how poor they are, how they find it hard to purchase a house, to afford their education, to afford their health care. I think that is the biggest issues, not only the world, but the Chinese government should take serious concerns about.
So what do you think is one of the main misconceptions that America and the world has about China?
Yeah, as I've mentioned, China has 1.4 billion people. The one big misconception that's been existing for the previous many years is that the one-child policy is not good. It's abuse to the human rights. I think this is a very proper policy that suits for our condition, because with such a big gap of the rich and poor, and also and such a huge population base, when you give birth to more child, it adds more burden to our country, and you know, there has been some statistics shown that raising a child costs you about $100,000 for every family. This is huge for China. So now I think this conception should be erased. And now we have a new policy. So if you are the only child, you can give birth to 2 children, because Chinese population is now aging. So we have less like offsprings to carry on this. So we have changed this policy. So don't talk about it anymore.
Zhongyu and I are trying to find the lid to this teapot, because I'd like to buy it.
This part is also dry.
So we're trying to find someone who might know where the lids are.
All sorts of sauces for barbecue, for guilin, chili, different sorts of any flavor you like, you can find over here. Li Jingji is the top brand of food sauce, which is so amazing. Different prices.
It's nice?
It's so nice.
Yeah? What's that newspaper you have?
That's the US-China Press. I'm gonna intern in LA, which is where it's headquartered in July and August. Hopefully I'm gonna stay there and let them hire me.
Ni hao.
I'm not Chinese.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Where are you from?
Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
These are the 3 sculptures of Chinese characters. This guy is the founder of Taoism called Lao Tzu, and we learned a lot from him and a lot from Confucius, Kongzi. And this one is called the God of Luck, and every year during spring break he is spreading all the money and all the luck to everyone of China. And this one is called the King of Fight, Guan Yu, and he's doing that in the kingdom, Romans of the 3 kingdoms. He can kill anyone with only 1 shot.